What's going on, everyone? It's Zach Hummel. Welcome into episode 4 of MTV The Challenge Rivals 3 recap show. I'm joined as always by Steve. What's going on, Steve?
Not too much. Zach, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's a hot one where I'm at. How about you?
Yeah, same here. Finally.
Yep. Summer's just around the corner, and the action's starting to heat up on the. Well, last night's episode. Do you have any overall thoughts to start with?
Um, Overall, there was plenty of drama to talk about. Again, not an elimination to talk about, so kind of disappointed there. But I'm excited to get into all the drama that we had last night.
Yeah, so we can start it off by the episode starts. Jump right into talking about Simone's butthole, which has been a topic of conversation ever since the soap challenge, where she kind of, I don't know if you would call it chafe down there, and it obviously hurt her so bad she had to go to the doctor, which gave her more airtime, which I think she enjoys.
Yeah, that was just absolutely hilarious. One of the funniest injuries in challenge history. I couldn't help but laugh at that, and she was very excited to get the airtime and very excited when she came back with the positive outlook from the doctor.
Yeah, her teammate Thomas was like, "I'm not getting sent home." Teammate's butthole. So it's good that Simone was okay, but she loves the camera time, so I think she made a meal out of that just to, get some more storylines going on her front. Um, what else did we have? We moved into Nani's cousin. Kind of start talking about her love life, and I guess she had a crush on Nate, the little rat-looking kid who is teammates with Christina. Is already the one little kid with tattoos all over his body, kind of a emo kind of kid. But I didn't know that was Nicole's type. I kind of pegged her as more of the Guido fan, like a Vince type. But yeah, so she pretty much said she had a crush on Nate, and Nate eventually asked her out on a date, which I thought was weird. Like, this is the challenge, just have sex. You don't need to have a date, you know.
Yeah, that was definitely hilarious. It was funny seeing Wes and Sarah trying to play matchmaker, and it's almost like high school or even further back, like almost middle school, where they're like, "Hey, she likes you. Go talk to her." And it was pretty funny that he actually said, "Do you want to go out on a date?" That doesn't happen on the challenge, like you said. It's just you get drunk and fuck, and that's about it.
Yeah, like you get naked at a pool, one thing leads to another. You don't whine, you don't have to whine and dine these girls. So Nate seemed like a little bit of a pussy though, so I think that was kind of his mo to ask her out instead of just kind of going for the kill. Um, yeah, so that kind of get me thinking. Like, I just think Nicole. For anyone that watched last season, you notice she looks totally different with her makeup on compared to her makeup off. And I saw this episode. She had her makeup off a lot. Um, and I'm not a big fan of her without her makeup on, to be honest. But she definitely has a nice body at the same time.
Yeah, I totally agree. Great body, definitely a weird face, and she should definitely be someone who always needs to have the makeup on.
Yeah, I think everyone agrees there. So then we had the party, obviously, Club Rivals, I think they called it. They had a DJ. It looks like they had an open bar at the house, which is all the time because they don't have to pay for anything. Um, it looked like everyone was having a good time, not really talking about the game, letting loose a little bit. I literally laughed out loud when they showed the music on the dance floor, and there's Wes with his shirt off, just doing some crazy ass like Euro techno moves. And I thought to myself, I'm like, this guy's got some Mexican ecstasy from one of the bartenders, and he's just going ham. I thought that was pretty funny to start off the club rival scene.
Yeah, Wes is unintentionally the funniest guy there, I think. And when he starts drinking and getting wild, it's always something funny from him, whether it's him, dancing like an idiot or just the comments that he makes when he's drinking. But the house party, all in all, just seemed, it seemed like it would have been a lot of fun as long as you weren't Nani or Camilla or Nicole. But other than that, it seemed like it was a fun time to just get after it and not, not think about the game, or for the most part, not really get into the drama. And like I said, unless you were happen to be Nani, Camilla, or Nicole.
Yeah, Wes is such a measured guy, and seeing him let loose was, just absolutely hilarious. But yeah, we could dive right into the drama. Um, I don't really know how this started. A little bit of telephone maybe, but it ended up with Camilla and Kellyanne versus Nani and her cousin Nicole. I guess I think it was one of the Are You the One people came up to Nicole and said that someone said that Nani and Nicole were less trustworthy than Kellyanne and Camilla. Nani obviously took exception. She got her Puerto Rican on, all up in her face, fingers wagging. Camilla got her Brazilian on, all up in her face. And the guys in the house just ate it up. They were just watching two cats go at it on the side of the house. So much so that they're after the fight, they walk by them and she's like, "Johnny, you're such an asshole," because they're just watching all this girl drama go down while the guys are just drinking and having a good time.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious there, where they sort of tried to play it off like they were talking about the paint on the wall when they were really creeping the whole time. But yeah, I mean, that was just a classic case of telephone and just misunderstanding something that got taken completely out of context. And I think, thanks to all the alcohol that was being consumed, that blew up real fast. Nani and Camilla, they've had a history with each other, and you know, I thought that I thought it was great at first, but it kind of ended a little disappointing for me, because they were really quick to apologize, both of them, which I didn't think we would see that, but they
Yeah,
both
that
realized it was a misunderstanding, and yeah, they were both quick to apologize for the situation, which was kind of shocking to me.
And here's another example of what we've been talking about all season. I think the producers are having a lot more say in what kind of fights go on in the house. Like, I think this fight was completely fabricated. I think maybe the producers told someone to go up to Nicole and make up this storyline, and it kind of all ended with that. That's why I don't think there was a fight at the end of it. I think it was all contrived, and they've been doing that a lot this season. It seems like the producers are trying to put these storylines out that don't really need to be there. I guess we're fine with watching these people just be drunk idiots in the house. We don't need all this drama, who said what, and all this stuff. But yeah, the guys just watch all the drama go down, and I think they were doing tequila. I think that's why it got a little out of hand. You start giving Latino girls tequila, and they'll start yelling at everyone's face around them. And Nani's definitely one of the craziest people that's ever been on the challenge, maybe. So the party went down, and then a lot of the Are You the One people start talking about their alliance and whatnot. I'm just so sick and tired of these Are You the One people on the screen. I have no prior knowledge of them, so I don't really feel invested in the characters. While with the challenge and the real world people, I know what they're about, I know their background, I know what they're dealing with. I just hate that they're kind of playing up that Are You the One storyline.
I totally agree. It's something that I'm sort of starting to get worried about. That it's Are You the One is they're trying to sort of shove this down our throats, and I'm just worried about it, because, like you, I mean, I don't know who any of these characters are, and they're all trying to sort of make a name for themselves. But I mean, that was interesting, where they had the whole it was Christina and Nate that came out, that it seemed like maybe they sort of had an alliance but didn't have an alliance with the real world. So that was sort of the tipping point for the drama between the Are You the Oneers.
Yeah, so then Brianna and I think it was Amanda confronted, and Simone. Simone will always get in there just to get her camera time, even if she has nothing to do with it. But they got up in Christina's face, and I'm just so sick and tired of that. And then Brianna and her partner Brandon, Brandon starts crying about how he has a girlfriend back home and he misses her. Dude, you got $300,000 in the line or something like that. You can't be thinking about your girlfriend. You could change your life. And he's one of the people in the game who actually has a decently athletic girl partner. So for him to start talking about crying on the street just saying that he's done with the challenge. That kind of caught me off guard. Just suck it up and just live in the house and just do the challenges.
Yeah, that was an absolutely pathetic display from him. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like you said, there's so much on the line, and you just gotta, you know, no matter how much you miss your girlfriend, you got to deal with it for. I have to assume they're away for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks total. And as I'm talking about it now, maybe you've been mentioning how the producers are trying to set some stuff up. Maybe they actually showed a phone call, which seemed like a real phone call this time. So maybe the producers were sort of getting in his ear, being like, "Hey, this might be a storyline for you to talk about how much you miss your girlfriend. Like, why don't you get on the phone with your girlfriend and we'll put it in there?" But he just took it to the next level, and he couldn't stand being away from her. So, I mean, that was absolutely ridiculous. That it came down to him, quitting the show.
Yeah. Before we get to Brandon, having his run-in with TJ, quitting the show, at the end of the party night, there with a couple girls, obviously, like he always is, and they start talking about which one's better, Real World or Are You the One? And obviously, Are You the One people think that the Real World people, have this kind of, they deserve more because they're on the Real World compared to Are You the One? But Tony says, Are You the One's like a vacation. I was broke when I was in the Real World. Leave it to Tony to just say, what everyone was thinking. He's a poor guy. He's just trying to win some money. But that ended up with Camilla kind of fighting Tony's battle for him and getting up in one of the girls' faces. And I thought we were about to have a fight then because I think Camilla had a bunch to drink and she was always already riled up from the Nani fight. So I thought we were about to have people throw hands there.
Yeah, it seemed like she was just on standby, waiting for her opportunity to get in there to go after basically anybody on Are You the One? And I just love Tony, man. He's such an electric character. No matter what he's doing, I'm like, I need more Tony, whether he's starting fights or whether he's trying to smash in the house. It's just like, enough with the Are You the One people. Just give me Tony because I want to see what he's doing.
Yeah, the actions around Tony. Something's always happening when Tony's around. He's either getting girls pregnant or, saying something stupid. Tony's the best. One thing I want to pitch to MTV, next year if they have a challenge, they should do Are You the One versus Real World. People, I think that'd be interesting. You'd have all these challenge people that have been rivals for so long would have to work together versus these Are You the One people who, they take pride in being on Are You the One, which is kind of stupid in my mind. But, then they all woke up from their drunk, infused night, and they had a challenge the next day. Before the challenge, we could talk about Brandon. He pretty much misses his girlfriend so much he quits the show, and obviously Brianna leaves with him. And TJ, when he started hugging all the cast members, TJ's like, "That's enough hugging. Just get out of here." He hates quitters. There's nothing worse than letting TJ Lavin down, and that's what Brandon did.
I was so excited for him to actually go through with the quitting just so we could see TJ's reaction because I knew that he was going to be pissed at him. He tried to guilt him a little bit there at the end, saying like, "Oh, you're going to let your partner down. You're going to let her walk away from $300,000." But TJ had the line of the night when he said, "Hope to see you never." I thought that was awesome.
Classic TJ line. Hope I see you never. And he probably won't be on any of these challenges anymore. I don't know why even kind of on this one, but at the end of this episode, we see a preview, and it looks like they're bringing in another team to replace Brandon and Brianna. Teams are just going down like flies. We really haven't had one jungle yet. It seems like this season's dragging on so long because we don't have eliminations during a lot of these episodes, which is kind of disappointing, which we mentioned at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just worried again that this is going to be another Are You the One team they have on standby coming in now.
Yeah, they need to bring a challenge, like a heavyweight challenge team in, like a Zach and John A or someone, like something we can get excited about because this season definitely needs a jolt of energy. The challenge was they kind of had to swing from these bars of differing heights. I don't know who thinks up these challenges, but this one was well engineered. I think whoever's running the challenge engineering is doing a great job. I think this one was really thought out. They put the bars just far enough away so the short people couldn't grab them, or they had to jump, and you had to use your upper body strength to kind of keep yourself up. What do you think of the challenge?
What I like to do whenever I see a new challenge start is sort of think to myself, is this something that I would do or not? And to me, right from the get-go, this one for me, it had nope written all over it because I'm not a big heights guy. And to me, that just looked sort of petrifying, being that high above the water and having to do that. It definitely looked, there wasn't much room for them on the platforms up there. And then the fact that they had to jump out off of the platforms to reach those bars, it's just something that I wouldn't have felt comfortable doing. And I think it was something that was, pretty challenging especially if you have sort of a fear of heights.
Yeah, I don't mind heights, but I don't like jumping into water from that high. And we saw some, pretty treacherous falls, so much so that Corey and his partner Ashley made it the farthest that we saw in the episode. And, she fell into the water and hurt her shoulder, I think, or her arm. She had to get stitched up. But she's kind of a crazy person. So she was seems like she almost likes pain a little bit. Like she was kind of laughing and using it as kind of a badge of honor. And Corey kind of came over to her and said, good job, which was good to see because you never really see people complimenting each other on good effort. But one thing I thought about this challenge is like when people were falling, there was these blue buoys underneath where, people were falling off the ledge. And I thought they almost hit these buoys a couple times. Like if these people drop from that high and hit these buoys, they would be injured like bad and MTV would get sued. So I don't know who set that up, but the safety isn't always, up to date on the challenge, which would scare me a little bit being that high up.
Yeah, and that was definitely scary too when I think it was right after Ashley fell and she was already injured. She was talking about how she had to sort of be cognizant of the fact that she had to get out of the way soon because Corey was on his way down too. And I mean, that's scary itself. If a teammate had fallen on somebody else from that high up, that's something else that I don't know. Seems like they didn't take that into consideration either, but that was definitely looked like a huge safety risk.
Yeah, so we had Simone, who was again whining. She was scared to jump off the platform because she's so short. And Thomas eventually just pushed her and she got the platform easily. I think it's a lot of mind over matter with these challenges, especially if you're scared of heights. But Camilla took a huge fall at the end. We had Dario, who's pretty much all popcorn muscle. All he does is, work out, but I'm not sure he's the best cardio upper body strength. And him and Nicole couldn't even, get off the first swinging ladder because he couldn't hang on long enough, which I thought was funny because he's such a hardo. Like he thinks he's so good, but he really sucks.
Yeah, just a pathetic performance from him. Yeah, he's terrible, I think.
Yeah, so that's where the episode ended pretty much. We don't really see much more, but we see that there may be a couple injuries going on with this challenge. Would you see at the end of the episode? Because I put these on DVR, so I didn't see kind of the end. What happened?
The same thing happened to me at the very end. There, I was watching off the DVR, and it got to the end, and it cut off for me before I saw what was going to happen next week. So that's going to be a surprise for me.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I don't like to know what's going on going into the challenge. So, go see the preview if you want to watch the preview for the next one. Me and Steve both missed it, but unless you got anything else, I think we're good. Another decent episode. Not an elimination challenge though, which they built up this elimination dramatic, and they've only given us one jungle so far.
Yeah, that's been the most surprising thing so far. I think everybody's been, they've been yearning for a jungle and an elimination challenge, and they just haven't been giving them to us consistently. Last night, the drama was so sort of dragged out. They didn't leave much time for the competition. One thing I wanted to mention was, I don't know if people saw this, but the official Twitter account of the challenge tweeted out sort of what team are you on, Real World or Are You the One? And 85% of the people responded real world. So maybe that's something they'll consider, when thinking of teams next year, that people like the old classic when it comes to the challenge, and maybe they won't bring back these "Are You the One" teams.
Yeah, well, I think they should pin them against the real world. Like, I know they did it really early on the challenge. If you've been following it for a long time, they used to do two huge teams versus each other, and huge challenges. And I would love to see that. Are you the one versus real world? We can see who's better and stop having Tony drunk argue it for the real world and having drunk Amanda, say that are you the one's better. I think they should just settle it on the field with TJ Lavin refereeing it. I'd love to see that next season because, to be honest, this season's been a little boring. And I've heard a couple of people say it that the real world itself is doing pretty bad ratings, so they're trying to bring more of that element of just more house stuff, more drama, more going out into the challenge, which I'm not sure I want to see. I want to see, we call it the fifth professional sport for a reason. We want to see these athletes compete in elimination challenges. The most exciting stuff we see is CT carrying bananas, in an elimination challenge, or an underdog beating a big guy like Zach. That's what we want to see. We want to see athletics.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that they have something big in store for us, and they're gonna, maybe just go crazy with the elimination challenges here in the future. But it's definitely been a slow start, and I think some people are starting to worry about that. The competition has sort of taken a back seat to more, like you said, the drama that is more known on the real world.
Yeah, I think they should actually. We haven't had a lot of elimination challenge because a lot of teams have gone home, whether on their own choice or through injury. I think if you leave the challenge early on your own accord, like Brandon and Brianna did, you should be fined, like the NFL, $5,000 for leaving the challenge too early because you're taking the spot of. I'm sure there's a bunch of old real world and Are You the One people that want to get on the show, and you show up and you're gone by the second episode. That's not cool.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I wonder so far through 4 episodes how much real time has actually eclipsed. But for him to be like that homesick that quickly, it's just ridiculous. Like, why even bother going through with it? Like you said, somebody else could have had a big opportunity to get on the show, and he completely screwed over his partner.
Yeah, so I think next week the season will really pick up. All the teams that don't want to be there or injured or out, and we're going to have an elimination challenge. I hope. I mean, if we don't get one next week, I might stop watching. I need an elimination challenge. So, any last thoughts, Steve?
No, I think we recapped everything, and yeah, next week better pick up on the competition aspect, and hopefully we'll have some good actual competition to talk about.
All right, great. Thanks for joining us, everyone. See you next week.
See ya.